You thought I fell off? You're smoking something.
Hello and welcome to Sports Clips UK. I'm Marcus J. Richardson.
And I'm Adam Thorne.
Today we are talking about the big one in February. It is Eubank and GROVES.
GROVES?
It is Eubank Jr. versus George Groves. I was going to say George Groves, and they kind of got amalgamated. GROVES. Eubank Jr. versus George Groves, and Danny Garcia versus...
Bam Bam Brandon Rios.
There you go. We're only going to cover two fights, because to be honest, who gives a shit about the rest?
Oh, I do.
Well, obviously, but we're not going to talk about them because I don't. Let's start with Brandon Rios and Danny Garcia. Where's that happening?
That is happening in the US of A.
Whereabouts?
One of the states.
Brilliant. So either Las Vegas or New York City, without a doubt.
Much.
It's going to be one of those two, isn't it?
Almost certainly.
And tell us a little bit about the fight.
Well, obviously, Danny Garcia, Amir Khan's conqueror, one that Khan is looking for.
One of his conquerors.
One of his, three conquerors. He's lost his...
Four, if you include the fucking jungle.
Spiders or whatever it was. Danny Garcia is coming off a loss to Keith Thurman. Now, that was a very much, to use a football metaphor, very much a top-of-the-table clash. He's fighting a guy who, in Brandon Rios, who kind of retired for a bit, was fought down at a lower weight, was a lightweight, super lightweight, and is now up at welterweight. Rios is come forward, aggressive fighter, a little bit vulnerable at the higher weight, and I think has probably come back for money rather than fame and glory. Garcia is a good fighter. He only lost to Thurman on a split decision.
He's not going to get a rematch there?
Possibly down the line, but he's lost his belt, so he's got to come back and get a couple of wins on it. He's not fought since that fight. That was last March.
Right,
so this is his first fight back. For me, this is him picking someone with a good name, well-known name, Brandon Rios. No, you don't know him, but in America he's well-known. He said earlier, he went, it doesn't matter how enthusiastically you say it to me, Adam. No, I don't know who he is.
No, he said, you know Danny Garcia and Brandon Rios. Like, yeah, I know Danny Garcia. I'm not sure about Brandon Rios. Brandon Rios! Well, saying it more enthusiastically does not make me know it more.
Anyway. He's picked Brandon Rios. I think that's a well-matched fight, is what I'll say. It'll be competitive, and I think Garcia will win.
Knockout?
I hope so, because I don't like Brandon Rios. Although Garcia himself is quite likeable, but his dad, Angel Garcia, is an absolute bellend of the highest order.
Well, this is what happens, though, like Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s dad, Floyd.
Actually, Floyd Senior, I thought was all right when we met him in...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he wasn't...
Mickey got into an argument with his girlfriend. That was quite funny.
Floyd Senior was a bit of a prick during the Ricky Hatton days.
Yeah, I mean, the Mayweathers kind of revel in being pantomime villains. Floyd did that while we were there. He hurling insults, but you can see in his face he's just doing it to get a rise out of someone.
Yeah.
Angel Garcia is quite a spiteful, horrible person. Said some fairly racist things about Amir Khan.
Wow.
These Indians don't fight well. Well, he's Pakistani for a start, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So look.
Wow.
To Angel Garcia. Danny Garcia seems like a nice enough kid. He's a good boxer. I say kid, he's about my age. He's a good boxer. I think he'll win that.
Okay, moving on to the big one, which will be happening before that in the United Kingdom. The World Boxing Super Series Super Middleweight Semi-Final. George Groves versus Eubank Jr. I should get a job doing that. I just nailed that first time. That was genuinely the first time.
He's been doing it for hours in the mirror.
I genuinely haven't. Fucking prick.
Here's how much I like that one. I'm going to Manchester for it.
Wow.
So
I mean, the thing is, James DeGale was coming back, and we were all really excited about James DeGale coming into that division. He was pantaloon in his last fight.
Yep.
So actually, Callum Smith's in the other semi-final. These two and Callum Smith, kind of whoever wins this, they are going to be the king of the division. There's no two ways about it.
Yep, pretty much. And I mean, I'm a big George Groves fan. I really like him. I find him very exciting to watch.
Or Droves, as I've now titled him.
And I like his personality. He gets a bit of...
The moment that I was like, you know what, George Groves, my man, was his first fight against Carl Froch. Like, he deserved to win that. That was such a good fight.
It was a great fight.
And I honestly, I wanted him to get that world title, and he couldn't seem to get over the line. Now he's over the line. He seems to have got a new maturity and something a bit different about him, a bit of believability.
He does. He's got that kind of that gravitas, that extra oomph behind him.
Extra oomph.
Look, he's the naturally bigger guy. He's got the longer reach, and he carries decent power at the weight. What Eubank has in abundance is high work rate, fast hands. He's going to slip inside, and he's going to just... Yeah, that sounds really wrong, doesn't he? He's going to try and get inside the distance, get inside that jab, that lead jab of Groves. And he's
invade his personal space.
He's going to invade his personal space quite violently. And look, I watched Eubank spar in the Mayweather gym, and what impressed me about him is that he can go through the gears effortlessly.
Just 1 second. I'm just going to pick up the Mayweather gym that you just dropped for about the 14th time. You can have that back. Carry on. He's fast, he's hard, he's quick.
He's fast, he's hard, he's quick. He's come up from middleweight, but look, he knocked the fuck out of Avni Yildirim in his last fight. That was a really impressive performance. He went away. He comes off as this arrogant, guy, it's just confidence, man, and he does it for effect. He knows he's winding people. Again, he knows he's winding people
This
up.
is going to be a little bit controversial, but I don't think he's very clever as a person. I think he's an incredible fighter, but I think this kind of personality that we see, I don't think it is necessarily too much of arrogance. I think it's just kind of, he's only seen how his dad is, and I don't think he necessarily knows how else to behave. So maybe it's not a lack of intelligence. I'm not saying it's a lack of intelligence.
Look, if you had to spend that amount of time around Chris Eubank Sr., you'd shut up as well. That's all I'm saying. Eubank Sr. does the talking for them both. He doesn't need to get under his dad's.
But he still has an element of his dad's demeanour about him. There's no two ways about it.
He's got an air about him, but look, that's what boxing's about. You like the characters.
Oh, of course.
You know,
I don't dislike him. I'm just giving you a reason for it.
Yeah, no. I can see that, and I can see why people do dislike him for it. I just think it's going to make for a very, very interesting. The press conferences have been fun. They're going to. The final one's going to be brilliant. The weigh-in's going to be brilliant because they're going to stare.
It's an event.
Fuck out. It's an event. Yeah, and I mean it's a huge fight. It's like
things like the stare out. I think Eubank's going to have every time. And on the night, I'm gonna say Eubank.
Really?
Yeah. And I've changed my mind.
And I can see that, and I've changed my mind a couple of times, but I have to say
I was George Groves, and I hope George Groves wins, but I just think Eubank's going to be... You know what it is? It's the fact that Eubank... I mean, he is the bookies' favourite with a lot of people, but not the fans' favourite. Because he's not the fans' favourite, I think his dad used to feed off that a little bit. You know what I mean? Everybody else really wanted Nigel Benn, didn't they?
He's actually the book. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, he is the bookies' favourite. Yeah,
but
I don't know why.
Well, because
Groves has lost.
Groves is beatable. You know.
Well,
Billy Joe Saunders beat him. Bloody hell, yeah. Billy Joe Saunders is. I mean, in his last fight, he was.
That can I just say? I've got to get it in one of the videos. That. My boxing moment of 2017, hands down. I nearly wet the bed when I saw
having
that.
the cheek to do that, and the guy, as if the guy didn't then hit him at that point. Like,
well, no, because he was still busy trying to reset himself. He'd thrown a punch into the crowd. It was brilliant. Well done, Billy. Loved it. He
basically sent him an email a week before, didn't he? Told him it was coming. So Billy Joe Saunders is beating him, but George Groves, it's one of those ones. He's a bit of a people's champion, isn't he?
He is. He's very down to earth and much more affable than.
And he's a bit like a Frank Bruno in the sense of we all want him to win, and he's more than capable. But on the big occasion, does he deliver?
So far, yeah. But recently he has, and emphatically so.
But on the big, I mean, this is a big occasion.
This is a massive.
This is the last occasion that is as big as his second Froch fight.
And is that going to work in his favour? Because he's been through the two massive fights with Froch.
Good point. Good point.
Eubank hasn't done that.
Good point.
Yeah. Is that going to work? And
in fact, when he did, Billy Joe Saunders, which was a massive fight, he lost.
Yeah.
Okay,
so we'll see. But I'm
where's it at? MEN?
Wherever the bomb went off.
Fucking
Manchester Arena.
Full of them tonight. Yeah.
I think it's just called the Manchester or the O2 Manchester Arena.
When I was a kid, it was called the 9X.
Sounds horrible. Sounds like 1.5.
Well, you had the GMX.
Sounds like just over 2 cans of Australian lager.
Yeah. GMX, or was it the GMX? Oh no, maybe it was the GMX. And I played a football tournament there because it was where they had the ice hockey, but instead of the ice, they put like an AstroTurf pitch down.
Actually, sounds pretty cool.
It was the best. It was like a curved football pitch. It was the best football tournament of my entire life. The only people who know about that is anyone who played for South Shore Youth under 10s. Anyway, we've got away from boxing there, but a great arena nonetheless.
Yeah, and Southpaw Jab, Team Southpaw Jab, we're heading up there. We're getting a coach at 7 o'clock in the morning.
So there's going to be some live videos on Southpaw Jab's Facebook page. They will be broadcasting live from the coach.
We may or may not be.
They will be. They will 100% be doing that. I've just decided now. Sorry, Chris. No, it will be good though. You should do that.
No fucker's going to be up at 8 a.m. watching us on a trip to Manchester.
You'd be surprised. You've got 2,000 likers. You will all
3,000.
You've got 3,000 likers, mate. I reckon there'd be at least 40 or 50 people happy to watch that. Comment on the post, because hopefully this has been posted on Southpaw Jab. Comment, do you want them to do live videos from the day, the build up, and, chatting to other fans? That's a good shout. Why don't you go and chat to other fans, do a few interviews live? Hi, we're with the other fans, who do you think's going to win? Poll type of thing.
Yeah, mate, well done.
Shouldn't they do that? They should do that, definitely. If I was with you, I'd be doing it.
Does this count as cyberbullying?
Fucking make the interviews! I've been Marcus J. Richardson. Have we done this?
I'm still terrified.
You're smoking
See you later.